After Taylor went away to be repaired, her cousin Nia came to fill in for her. And she proved to be a great help the minute she arrived. One day, Larry and Nia were at Otisville waiting for Temu to bring them some freight cars when an SW-1500 switch engine passed through the station. Nia eyed the newcomer doubtfully. "Why are you giving that switcher a dirty look?" asked Larry. "That," said Nia, "is Axel." "Well, you told me his name, but why don't you like him?" "Axel is very conceited and very dangerous." "How?" Larry asked. "He has no regards for the rules or other engines around him. There was one time he ran through several signals and almost plunged through a drawbridge. Thankfully, the derailer stopped him. Our manager sent him away to the sheds after that, and he was only allowed out when he was desperately needed. But what's he doing here?" "I guess we'll find out soon," Larry said. Later that day, Axel was unloading boxcars at the container yard when Nia puffed up. Here's a face I haven't seen in a long time. "How you doing, Nia? What brings you to this railroad?" "I'm here filling in for my cousin. I want to know why you're here." "The manager of this railroad, Mr.Egan, asked if I could come to help out during the construction of that new branch line. So my manager decided to send me." "Well," said Nia, "I expect no trouble out of you. These are hard-working engines and they don't stand for any nonsense." "Nonsense? Me?" said Axel. "I'm not about nonsense." And with that, Axel left his boxcars and cut in front of Kryssy on the main line. "Hey, watch it!" snapped Kryssy, but Axel didn't care and just continued on. A few days later, Axel was in South Plainsville Yard, getting ready to take a short train to the steelworks. His driver hopped out of his cab to go ask Ray a question. He left Axel's air brakes on, but not the train brake. This gave Axel an idea. "Hey," he whispered to the gondolas, "what do you want?" they asked. "Do you think you'd give me a little push? We can go for a joyride down the main line, all on our own." The gondolas liked the sound of this and agreed. The gondolas then jerked forward, knocking Axel's brake off, and he began to roll. Axel's driver came back and was horrified to see Axel running away without him. "Come back here," he shouted. But of course, Axel couldn't, even if he wanted to. He's made his way along the main line. "Faster, faster, faster," shouted the gondolas. When all the tower operators got word of the runaway, they began changing signals and switching trains off the main line. Christion was heading into the siding with a general freight train. Then he saw Axel approaching. "Oh no, driver, we have to clear fast," shouted Christion. Christion's driver opened the throttle a little, but it was too late. Axel plowed into the caboose, knocking it off the rails. Thankfully, the conductor jumped clear right before Alex crashed into it. Axel wasn't having fun anymore. He was actually scared. He had never been without a crew before. "I have to stop! I have to stop!" Axel shouted. "Well, like they say," laughed the gondolas, "be careful what you wish for." Ahead on their line was Khadijah. She was heading into a siding too with some coal cars. She looked back and saw Axel fast approaching. "Uh-oh, I have to clear the line," said Khadijah frantically. She sped up, but much too quickly. She ran right into the barrier at the end of the siding. Coal flew all over her. Khadijah was furious. Meanwhile, at Oscawana, Danielle was waiting. She had volunteered to travel in front of Axel to try to stop him. "Are you sure you want to do this, old girl?" said her driver. "Yes," said Danielle. "That engine's a danger to everyone around him. I must help stop him." They then heard a loud horn, and then saw Axel approaching from behind. "Well, it's showtime," said Danielle bravely, and she set off. By the time they reached Middletown, Axel had caught up to her. Nia had just dropped off some balance cars at Middletown when she saw the runaway race through. Uh-oh, said Nia. Well, this can't be good. Danielle's fireman bravely climbed along Danielle's tender. He was going to jump into Axel's cab and put the brakes on. The two engines swayed and lurched down the line. But he soon finally jumped from Danielle's tender onto Axel and went into his cab. Ahead on their line, Temu was shunting passenger cars. Oh no, she cried. They're gonna crash right into me. Soon Danielle's fireman managed to get Axel's brakes on. Once they were on, Danielle's driver then quickly applied her brakes. Temu shut her eyes. They then came to a stop, just inches from Temu's front coupler. When Temu opened her eyes, she found Danielle staring at her, and all three engines breathed a sigh of relief. A little while later, Nia puffed up. Mr.Egan was on board. Well, Axel, care to explain how this happened? Uh-oh, that's easy, sir. The gondolas were being troublesome. They rammed into me, knocking my brakes off and causing me to become a runaway. The gondolas were outraged. They hated being thrown under the bus like that. Mr.Egan then began to laugh. I guess it is kind of funny, sir, Axel said, a little nervous but trying not to show it. I'm laughing, said Mr. Egan, because it's funny. It's funny because Sarah was in the yard when it happened and overheard you asking the gondolas to push you. Axel gulped, smile disappearing. I know about your history on the other railroad, said Mr. Egan. Your manager told me all about it. And he also gave me full permission that if you act up here, to punish you how I see fit. And that is exactly what I'm gonna do. Axel shuddered nervously. Nia, drop these gondolas off at the steelworks and take Axel to Harmon. Yes, sir, no problem, replied Nia as she puffed away to get coupled up. A few days later, Larry and Nia went to Harmon to see Axel. When they arrived there, they got a big surprise. Axel had had his cab and prime mover removed and had been effectively turned into a slug. Slugs are attached to diesel locomotives and help provide extra power. This meant that Axel couldn't move unless another diesel was coupled to him. Well, chuckled Larry, this punishment certainly did fit the crime. It certainly did, added Nia. Axel, I've been telling you that sooner or later your ways was finally going to get you into trouble. And I also told you can't act up here because nobody here takes any nonsense. Axel didn't say a word. At the end of the week, Axel finally entered service as a slug, working with the other diesels. It's unfortunate, really. Axel honestly did learn his lesson, but it's just a shame that the lesson had to come too late.